Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a celebration of the 249th United States Marine Corps birthday, hosted by the Marines Memorial Association and Foundation. We would like to thank the Marines from the 1st Marine Division Band, Camp Pendleton, California, for providing this evening's ceremonial music, as well as the Marines of 23rd Marine Regiment, San Bruno, California, who will execute the duties of our ceremonial detail. As you enter and exit the Marines Memorial Theater this evening, you will observe an illuminated table that has been prepared in honor of our fallen comrades. It symbolizes the valiant sacrifices of our Marine Corps Navy team. Tonight, we pay special tribute to the members of our Marine Corps family who were taken from us. Their sacrifices and the sacrifices of their families help preserve our nation's freedom and enable millions of our citizens to enjoy the American dream. We stand free today because of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please join in a moment of silence as we pause to honor those brave men and women who have given their lives in the service of our country. Thank you. Each year, the Commandant of the Marine Corps provides a message of inspiration and camaraderie for all Marines, past and present, to help celebrate our glorious Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, a message from the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Eric Smith, and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Carlos A. Ruiz.
From building 1 Echo, move 10 meters to the northeast. Call contact on 3. Looks like vehicles.
We will cut our enemies down in droves. Our fires will be the substance of their nightmares. We will protect our brothers and sisters. The fields of the dead will serve as evidence of our passing.
complete. 3 killed.
I like Marine infantry, and I like the way they fought. They had shoes that none of you had. They didn't have proper shoes on and didn't have any shirts or anything. What do you expect troops are going to do at 30 below zero? Now, I was used to it, but you had kids in there that couldn't.
The Marine Corps is a force like no other. We have no peer. Our resilience is as unbreakable as our spirit. Because of this, we can endure any adversity. When faced with impossible challenges, we overcome and destroy any enemy in our path.
Our success in Fallujah was the individual Marine behind his personal weapon, but it was the Marine Rifle Squad and all the components of support that backed that squad leader and his squad. That was the secret weapon. You know, we talk about superpower weapons, all the capabilities of the nation. A rifle squad of Marine is the most fearsome weapon on the planet Earth.
We're the only organization that at the core, we ensure that first and foremost, our Marines are trained to be warfighters. We provide those Marines the fundamentals needed to be adaptable. And if they're adaptable, they're resilient. If they're resilient, they can problem solve. And they can problem solve, they're gonna be able to make the mission.
From the challenges of boot camp to battlefields anywhere in the world, our Marines persevere and win because no matter where they're from, they possess the courage and determination to overcome any obstacle. Our non-commissioned officers, the backbone of our Corps, make decisions and lead from the front with ruthless efficiency.
The squad leader that I had across the 3 squads in Afghanistan they were brilliant, just very different people. But when it came to understanding the environment, understanding our equipment, and understanding the enemy, being able to adapt requires awareness.
In every battle we fought, the key has been decisive leadership carried out by our junior Marines. They are the difference makers, willing to walk point, be first through the door, and if necessary, make the ultimate sacrifice for their brothers and sisters.
When you're in a bad situation, the only thing you are allowed or permitted to do is to determine how you're going to fight your way out of that situation or scenario. You have mentally prepared yourself for these things, and then they happen. And then they're difficult, but you're able to navigate through them because you are a trained professional warfighter.
As the world changes, we are changing with it. We are equipping our forces with cutting-edge technology, while also embracing our heritage, which shows us war will never change. America will always need Marines willing to fix bayonets and charge the enemy.
We're identifying what we think the next fight is going to look like. That's, a force design and where we're moving. And it is very distributed in nature, to say the least. And at the entry level, teaching to think at a different level and to receive inputs and to process different types of technology only supports what they're going to do in 2-3 years when they are that corporal.
The Marine Air Ground Task Force is the tip of America's spear. Adaptable to any situation, the MAGTF is ready to support our allies and destroy our enemies anywhere in the world. Our Marine Expeditionary Units stand forward deployed as a naval response force. Always on call, in war and in peace.
These were special people. They were incredible people. I'm just thankful that for a moment, I got to know so many incredible heroes.
You always want another second, another minute, another hug. But, you know, when the time comes and they're gone, that's it. So what you've said, what you've done, who you were, that's what they're gonna remember.
The fallen didn't make that sacrifice for us to sit around and be sad all day. They made that sacrifice with the expectation that we would live in the fullest manner possible.
Do what you need to do to get back into the fight and know that the community is there, the brothers are there, the sisters are there, like everybody is there to, you know, to keep the fight going, to keep pushing the fight, because inevitably, like, we need everybody to be operational. We need, you know, that team to come back together and continue the mission, because you lose a teammate and you still have to keep fighting.
The enemies of the nation, we're the finest fighting force on the face of the earth. We've proven it. Coming up on 2.5 centuries.
Because you cannot beat that which will not stop.
I have 35 of the most savage human beings on Earth. We are a bunch of rabid dogs.
We will continue to be the most elite ground fighting force that there is. And I think that we continue this extreme sense for violence of action. Like, these Marines are going to continue to pave the way for our military.
Be ready, because if you're not ready, the Marine Corps is just going to do what they do best, win our nation's battles.
For 249 years, Marines have distinguished themselves not just by their valor, but by their readiness to confront the challenges that lie ahead, no matter how daunting those challenges might be.
The next fight is on the horizon, and it will demand everything we have. Our reputation as warriors is not just a relic of our past, but a living testament to our nature. Our spirit is one of relentless pursuit, unmatched violence, and a steadfast will to win.
Marines, our heritage is one of victory through superior might and unyielding perseverance. As we honor that heritage and our rich legacy today, we must also reaffirm our commitment to our nation, our families, and the Marines to our left and right. We will remain vigilant, and every Marine will be prepared to fight and win, no matter the cost.
Happy birthday, Marines, and Semper Fidelis.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation, which will be delivered by Colonel John C. McKay, United States Marine Corps retired.
Holy Father, we invoke your blessed spirit amongst us this evening. We are grateful for the promise that this august celebration holds as we pray for those in our military family who find merriment difficult in these times, for those who are separated by deployment away from friends and family. And last, for those who are grieving their loved ones. This is no time to glory in war, but rather to remember and give thanks for those who have cherished freedom and liberty more than life, for those still carrying around the wounds of war, whether visible or invisible. As we recall with thanksgiving those who lost their lives in defense of America, let us rededicate our lives to the ideals for which they paid the supreme price. Their legacy is our birthright and responsibility. Grant us skill, dedication, courage, for daily task of maintaining the bright torch of liberty. By your grace and by your power, let us mount up as eagles, run and not grow weary, walk and not grow faint, that our land may ever exist in peace and security. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of the Marines Memorial Association and Foundation, Lieutenant General Michael A. Rocco, United States Marine Corps, retired.
All right. Well, the fun hasn't started yet, but we're getting close. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, what fun. I mean, it really was. The start, how many of you are out there watching the band out there on Sutter Street? What a fantastic, a round of applause. Now, before I have brief remarks, I need to thank, well, the audience, all of you, the Marines Memorial family. Thank you all. And it's not just the folks in the front row or the reserve, it's all of you, it's all the Marines family. Thank you for choosing to spend your Marine Corps birthday with us. So a round of applause for all of you. Thank you so much. The staff has been incredible. You all know Michael Allen, but the staff that's been around, meeting you in the lobby, at the doors. I won't go through all the names, but the staff here makes it easy for me just to show up, get up here, and perform. So I want to thank the staff here at the Marines Memorial, has done year in and year out, has done a great job. So a round of applause for the staff. The band I already mentioned, 1st Marine Division Band, absolutely fantastic. Camp Pendleton, my home away from home, but fantastic job. And then the 23rd Marines out at San Bruno. What a touch of class to the whole. So a round of applause for the band and 23rd Marines. The voice of the Marine Corps, you heard me last year, and those of you who've been to 8th and I, a few years out now, but Master Gunnery Sergeant Pete Wilson, the voice of the Marine Corps, but absolutely fantastic. And I mentioned the board of directors that are here. Of course, my wife, who I wouldn't be here without, Susan, dear friends that have come in from far, but our guest of honor, Lieutenant General Mike Borgschulte, Deputy Commandant for Manpower and Reserve Affairs. He's back in D.C., and he decided to travel all the way out here to spend the birthday ball with us. So absolutely, a round of applause, Meet, and thank you very much for coming and being our guest of honor. Before we start, let me just say and hit on what General Smith and the Sergeant Major talked about, and as you know, many of you know, General Smith was here a few years ago as a guest of honor. Everybody fights. Everybody fights. And there's been a lot of discussion in the media. There's been a lot of discussion over the years. We've got a big day coming up on Tuesday. Everybody talks about the discourse in the country, but the one constant for 249 years has been the United States Marine Corps. Things have come, things have gone, things have risen, and I don't want to steal the classic line from James Earl Jones, but I will. There's been ups and downs and this and that, but the one constant in America has been the United States Marine Corps, and that has survived. And regardless of what you might talk about, everybody fights when you talk about that. The band, the 23rd Marines, doesn't matter the MOS. 1st Marine Division goes to war, the band goes. They're leaving their instruments and they pick up their weapons and they go man the post. They're riflemen. They qualify on the range every year with their personal weapon. When they go to a forward deployed, yeah, they may have their instrument with them, but they've got their personal weapon with them. They fight. They fight. Marines fight. You can talk about, and many Marines and many older than me. And we've got our oldest Marine and Mr. Don Reed, fought in Korea. We've got the Vietnam veterans. And everybody talks about the Marine Corps and when they were in the Marine Corps and the old Corps and the new Corps and the standards and when they're changing. And at the end of the day, Hairlines come and go. Tattoos come and go. Well, actually, tattoos don't come and go. All right, and that's as a dad. But as the Marine Corps does, and we adapt to the changing times, the one standard that doesn't change are the Marines, and every Marine's a rifleman. Every Marine's a warfighter. And the Marines' mission, regardless of what the MOS is to fight and win. And as the Commandant and the Sergeant Major talked about in the video, the tactics change. The Marine Corps doesn't change. The Marine Corps, warfighters, fight and win. And regardless of where the country goes or what the country, the Marine Corps is the constant, and you can rely on that for 249 years. So thank you very much. Thank you for choosing the Marines Memorial to spend the 249th birthday. We are honored to have you all here. Happy birthday, Marines.
Sound attention! Sound! Adjutant's call!
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor this evening is the Deputy Commandant of the Marine Corps for Manpower and Reserve Affairs, Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte. Escorting our guest of honor this evening is the Chairman of the Board of the Marines Memorial Foundation, Mr. Lucas Babbitt. Please rise for honors. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. On 1 November 1921, the 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, Lieutenant General John A. LtGen, directed that a reminder of the honorable service of the Corps be published by every command to all Marines around the globe on the birthday of the Corps. Since that day, Marines have continued to distinguish themselves on many battlefields and foreign shores, in war and peace. On this birthday of the Corps, therefore, in compliance with the will of our 13th Commandant, Article 38 of the Marine Corps Manual, edition of 1921, is republished as follows.
On November 1st, 1921, John A. LtGen, 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, directed that a reminder of the honorable service of the Corps be published by every command to all Marines throughout the globe on the birthday of the Corps. Since that day, Marines have continued to distinguish themselves on many battlefields and foreign shores in war and peace. On this birthday of the Corps, therefore, in compliance with the will of the 13th Commandant, Article 38, United States Marine Corps Manual, edition 1921, is republished as follows. On November 10, 1775, a Corps of Marines was created by a resolution of Continental Congress. Since that date, many thousand men have borne the name Marine. In memory of them, it is fitting that we who are Marines should commemorate the birthday of our Corps by calling to mind the glories of its long and illustrious history. The record of our Corps is one which will bear comparison with that of the most famous military organizations in the world's history. During 90 of the first 146 years of its existence, the Marine Corps has been in action against the nation's foes. From the Battle of Trenton to the Argonne, Marines have won foremost honors in war, and in the long years of tranquility at home, generation after generation of Marines have grown gray in war in both hemispheres and in every corner of the 7 seas, that our country and its citizens might enjoy peace and security. In every battle and skirmish since the birth of our Corps, Marines have acquitted themselves with the greatest distinction, winning new honors on each occasion until the term Marine has come to signify all that is highest in military efficiency and soldierly virtue. This high name of distinction and soldierly repute we who are Marines today have received from those who have preceded us in the Corps. With it, we have also received from them the eternal spirit which has animated our Corps from generation to generation and has been the distinguishing mark of the Marines in every age. So long as that spirit continues to flourish, Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future as they have been in the past, and the men of our nation will regard us as worthy successors to the long line of illustrious men who have served as soldiers of the sea since the founding of the Corps. J. A. LtGen, Major General, United States Marine Corps, 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps.
This timeless and inspiring message of our 13th Commandant has left its mark in the hearts and minds of Marines. By deed and act, from Belleau Wood to the Argonne, from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, from Incheon to the Korean Armistice, in interventions from Lebanon to the Dominican Republic, from the opening battles in Vietnam to Grenada, Panama, and Kuwait, and from operations in Somalia and Kosovo, to this century's longest wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, Marines have continued to epitomize those qualities which are their legacy. The success they have achieved in combat and the faith they have borne in peace will endure. The Commandant and our many friends have added their hearty praise and congratulations on this, our 249th birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the traditional Marine Corps birthday cake. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Marine Corps birthday cake cutting ceremony is important to all Marines, as it is an annual renewal of each Marine's commitment to the Corps and the Corps' commitment to our nation's quest for peace and freedom worldwide. The birthday cake is traditionally cut with the Mameluke sword as a reminder that we are a band of warriors committed to carrying the sword so that our nation may live in peace. As is our custom, the first piece of cake will be presented to our guest of honor, Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte. By tradition, the next piece of cake is presented to the oldest Marine in attendance as a sign of honor and respect according to experience and seniority. This evening, our oldest Marine is Sergeant Don Reed, who enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1953. A resident of San Francisco, Sergeant Reed was born on 21 June 1932. For 249 years, our experienced Marines have nurtured and led young Marines to fill our ranks and renew our Corps. As the oldest Marine, Sergeant Reed passes the piece of cake to the youngest Marine, symbolizing the passing of wisdom, knowledge, and experience, as well as trust and confidence in those who will carry on our Marine Corps traditions in the future. This evening, our youngest Marine is Corporal Elijah F. Conchas, who enlisted in the Marine Corps on 12 January 2020 and reported for duty with Headquarters Company 23rd Marine Regiment in San Bruno, California. A native of Sacramento, California, Corporal Conchas was born on 17 May 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retirement of the colors and the departure of the official party.
Left turn, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And now please welcome the chairman of the board of the Marines Memorial Foundation, Mr. Lucas Babbitt.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to stand before you as the chairman of your Marines Memorial Foundation. Now, my main purpose in life tonight is to introduce you all to our guest of honor, Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte, United States Marine Corps, the Deputy Commandant for Manpower and Reserve Affairs. However, before I do that, I think I would be somewhat remiss if I didn't issue a small call to action to all of us here this evening. Now, many of you have traveled far and wide to be here tonight, and for that, I thank you. Your commitment to the institution of the Marine Corps, as well as to the Marines Memorial Association and Foundation, is a sight to behold. And I know that I am preaching to the choir when I say that the lifeblood of this institution is the people who work here, as well as the people who play here. So my challenge to all of the veterans here this evening is, if you are not a member of the Marines Memorial, I would like you all to join tonight. When you go back to your room or on your phone, get signed up. There's lots of people here who will get you signed up. And if you live in the Bay Area, I just want you to know this is a total no-brainer. And I think tonight's festivities provide more than ample evidence of that. If you live far away, it's still a no-brainer. And because of all the fantastic membership benefits that accrue to us, we have the reciprocal clubs. And if you don't know what those are, I invite you to go to the website and check them out. All over the world, you can go to some of the finest clubs in the world and be welcomed because of your membership here at Marines Memorial. And I would also like you to know that as a member, and for those members here tonight, you are our best recruiting tools. So please make a habit of talking to your veteran friends. If they're members here, or if they're not members here, encourage them to join. Membership has its privileges. Okay, so now it's time for my main task. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to introduce tonight's guest of honor, Lieutenant General Michael Borgschulte, United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant General Borgschulte is a 1991 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. Go Navy. Following his graduation, he earned his jump wings at the Army's Airborne Course and completed flight training in Pensacola, Florida. He was designated a naval aviator in September of 1993. After completing initial training in the AH-1 Super Cobra, he spent the ensuing years honing his craft in a variety of tactical assignments. Following the attacks of 9/11, he would make multiple deployments to the Middle East in support of Operations Iraqi and Enduring Freedom. His command assignments include HMLS 367, MAG 39, and Commanding General, 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing aboard Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, also known as Fightertown, USA. He was promoted to Lieutenant General in 2024 and assumed his current role as Deputy Commandant, Manpower and Reserve Affairs. His awards include the Defense Superior Service Medal, the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 14 Air Medals for combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, and an individual Air Medal for personal action in Afghanistan. Distinguished, distinguished, distinguished. He's amassed 3,800 flight hours, including 700 combat hours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a true American hero to dine with us this evening, Lieutenant General Michael J. Borgschulte, United States Marine Corps.
We'll get rid of that. Not bad for a Navy jet pilot, huh? His call sign is Tommy Gun. And I like it, also a Naval Academy graduate. Just getting to know him and really impressive. So Chairman Babbitt, appreciate you. And wow, looking out at this fantastic crowd, I would also like to say welcome and thank you for spending the 249th birthday ball here in this historic place, Marines Memorial in San Francisco. It's great to see you, great to meet a lot of you. Yeah, how about that, huh? Not so bad in here. Tonight we're gonna have some fun. Is that all right? Can we have a little fun? For those that know me, they're getting a little scared. I know General Rocco is. He's like, oh, what is he gonna do? But I learned this from General Rocco. One of the things that I like to say to our Marines is win everything and have really high standards, but have a great time getting there. And so we are gonna have a great time tonight, and we're gonna have a ton of fun. So before, I know General Rocco had already mentioned the incredible ceremony of the 23rd Regiment and the Blue Diamond, otherwise known as the 1st Marine Division Band, but that was that high standard. We kind of take our ceremonies serious, huh? And they did a fantastic job, so another big round of applause for all of them. Now, I'm gonna get serious for a minute. I heard last birthday ball here, celebration, we had a couple of generals that are in the audience tonight, and they were fantastic dancers. And so there is Lieutenant General retired Adinan here, right there, and next to him, Major General Wiley and their beautiful brides, and they're gonna give dance lessons later. They promised me that they would, so I would ask you to find them. They're right here, they're trying to hide. Two very good friends of mine and mentors, and I think we're gonna be friends after that comment, but it's gonna be, there's an open bar, so your dancing is gonna be way better than last year. But really appreciate both of you. And how about that Lieutenant General retired, the Badfinger, Rocco? Huh? I know he's in the back here right now with a hook. Yeah, right. The Badfinger. He's missing some, we never tease him about that. But he is the president. We're not going to talk about politics. He's the president of Marines Memorial Club and the CEO. And I have known the Badfinger for almost 28 years. We have flown in those beautiful Super Cobras together. We have deployed together, and he has been my boss a number of times. And when I was down at that Fighter Town, USA last year when we did our birthday ball, guess who was my guest of honor? The Badfinger. And we won't talk about the Red Solo Cup or any of that stuff, because we don't talk about Fight Club, but we had a great time. And so there's somebody else that kind of makes Badfinger that much more special. And if you know her, you know she is the sweetest human on the planet, and that's Miss Susan Rocco. You talk about just like a power couple, but it's really just they care about people. One of the things that, most importantly, what I love about General Rocco is I stole his leadership philosophy, and that is, and he started getting fired up. He wanted to come back. I was going to get, you want to re-enlist? We'll bring you back. But he always said, mission first, people always. Because we know that if you really want to have those high standards of the mission, you got to take care of the people. And that doesn't mean feeding them ice cream every weekend and giving them long weekends. Sometimes, but that means treating them and hardening them up a little bit and training hard so when we go fight, we win. So he's getting a little fired up. It's awesome. But just another big round of applause for the Roccos. Yes. So tonight, what I'd like to do is I want to update you on the fantastic things that your Corps is doing. But first, I'd like to reach out, and again, I'll go a little bit deeper on the celebration tonight. Who here is attending the birthday ball for the first time, a Marine Corps birthday ball? You just raise your hand. Okay, fantastic. All right. Yeah, thank you. And a big round of applause. We won't make you stand up, but thanks for joining us. We take these things kind of serious, right? I mean, standing up there, eyes in the boat, about to pass out. It was awesome. That cake is good too, by the way. Carrot cake. Now, that wasn't even a joke, but it's going all right. Okay, my favorite group. How many spouses of a Marine do we have here tonight? Please just go ahead and raise your hand. Yes, we got a bunch of them out there. Fantastic. You look amazing. Huge round of applause for our spouses. Now, here's the deal. If your Marine is not really whining and dining you and taking care of you tonight, General Rocco we will come there and mentor your Marine, all right? So just make sure they're taking care of you. All right. And now the last one, let's go here. Do we have any dates of a Marine that's here tonight? Any dates in the crowd? Is there a date? Oh, right. Oh. 1, 2, 3. That's a shy. We will not stand up. But here's the deal. How long you been like dating? Like less than 6 months? Anybody? Okay, more. Well, here's what General Rocco told me. We were just talking about this. And because he's such a big deal, he can marry you tonight. Yeah. He can. And here's the other. It's a financial, like really good financial move because it's all paid for. Like I said, it's an open bar. It's a good this is where sometimes we say this to our young Marines and they get really, they get very nervous. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially when it's their first date. But thanks for joining us. Hopefully next year you'll be still dating that fantastic Marine. Okay, and then the last one is just all those fellow warriors, those Marines. We'll applause here in a second. But you know, we don't say former Marine, because once you've earned that title of United States Marine, it lives with you the rest of your life. So a huge round of applause for all of the Marines now and forever. Okay, now I want to provide a little bit of insight into how strong and lethal your Marine Corps is. You cannot have a speech without using the word lethal if you're a Marine. It's how we get promoted to general. You got to say lethal for every star. So lethal, lethal, lethal. But I want to tell you, so we have some manpower people in this crowd. So manpower is like how, we're like the HR, this current role that I'm in. I sit behind a desk, used to fly airplanes in San Diego. Now I'm in Quantico flying a desk. It's awesome, thank you. Some of the people in the front row made this happen. But we have, we have three, General Rocco, General Adnan, and I all have held this HR department for the Marine Corps. And one of the responsibilities that we have is we take the congressional mandated end strength, which is how many Marines you have in the Marine Corps, and we're responsible to our commandant to ensure that we have the right numbers of Marines to go fight. So now how do we do that? We do that in two different ways. And I think that what Chairman Babbitt said was fantastic about recruiting you, big money pocket donors. But I would ask you for this: recruit other fine young Americans to join the Marine Corps, because we need them. We have two ways to get to that number that we need, and that's through recruiting new Marines and retaining the fantastic Marines that we have. And the reason I'm going through this is because I'm going to brag a bit about the Marine Corps. You've probably seen in the news, it's hard to recruit people, young people, to enter the military service these days. It's harder than it ever has been. The propensity to serve is lower than it's been in a long time. And that's where this group can talk about the selfless service and how important it is to serve something bigger than self. So I would ask you, in addition to signing up tonight, like you said, think about how you can help us get the finest young Americans into the Marine Corps. But the end strength is one of the most important warfighting metrics that we have in the Marine Corps. How many, again, Marines that you have to go fight? Anybody know what our number is? Not important, necessarily. It's 172,300. That's how many Marines we have currently in the Marine Corps. And again, we get that through recruiting, assessing new young recruits, and then retaining. What's special about meeting, and we've met with let me ask you this question. You know the only service that has met the recruiting and retention goals over the last few years? It's the Marine Corps, the only service. And guess what? How many standards we lowered? Zero. Guess how many standards we're going to lower next year? Zero. We will never lower a standard. Yes. So with retention, which is keeping the talent that we have trained, how do you think we did this last year? We had historic retention in this environment that is difficult to keep Marines. We had the highest retention in the last decade. So think about that. In the last decade, our Marines, so what does that mean? Why do you think that happens? One, that means that Marines, once they become a Marine, they want to stay Marine. And they sign up for a subsequent set of orders. And that's very, very powerful, because the other services, it's not quite the case. Now, we need our other services. We want them to do better. But it's sure a little bit of fun making fun of them. I know there's some other uniforms in here. I'm sorry. I see some. We love the other services. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But that is impressive. And again, you have a big role in that, I would argue, in just keeping. Do we have recruiters? We got any recruiters here? Or those that have gone on recruiting? Okay, no? We're going to clap for them anyway. How about applause for that? The number, we achieved 114% of the goal. So again, that number doesn't mean that much, but what it really means is it means that, again, those Marines want to stay Marine, but to put that in context, it means that our Marines feel great value in this service as being a Marine. And again, great value in serving something bigger than self. Quite frankly, that's why all of us have stayed in. We don't pay often as much as other jobs might pay. We pay okay, but maybe not what many of our Marines could go earn. But when you have that feeling that you're serving and sacrificing for this great nation of ours, that means a lot. And all of you that have served understand that. And I applaud you and appreciate you. Yes. Now, with these crazy retention numbers, you would think, again, that we'd have to lower standards, but we didn't. You would think that we would have to take Marines or assess Marines that maybe didn't get a high school diploma or maybe didn't pass the first, there's a test that we test our recruits. All the services use that. Every other service has lowered that standard, except the Marine Corps. So again, I tell you these things because when you see the news, I call it Marine Corps winning fatigue. When you see some of the articles, they talk about the other services have done a little bit better this year, and that's fantastic. And again, we want them to be. But it always is like, oh, well, yeah, the Marine Corps just made it again. It is not easy. We send our best out there on a recruiting mission, and they have a very tough mission, and they grind it out every single day. But we have these numbers, these tests and things. The quality of the Marines that we've kept over the last 10 years, it's the highest it's been in a decade. So again, when you talk about your Marine Corps and the direction it's going, historic retention with the highest quality that we've had in a decade. And those of us that have seen these young Marines, they are impressive, incredibly impressive. When you watch the video and you see some of the historical context, our Marines are equally ready to fight. And when that bell gets rung, they will go fight and win. So, in order to prove this, why the Marine Corps is winning, I'm going to have a little bit of I won't jump off the stage, Joe Rocker, I promise, but we're going to have a little interactive play with you. Is that okay? Can we have a little fun? We're going to mix up. Okay, there we go. Okay, the reception, I don't think the bar opened yet, so you're a little quiet. We're going to get you going, especially this first row right here, the dancers. But just do me a favor, clear your minds for a second. Trying to break the stage here. Clear your minds for a second. You don't have to close your eyes, clear your minds. I'm going to do this drill. When you think of the Army, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Boom. Tank, yes. You get a coin, whoever that was. It was Hoops, nice job. The Admiral. Okay, right, so you think of the tank. When you think of the Air Force, first thing. Airplane, right? Who am I missing? Navy. No, not a squid. Bad man, must be a Marine. Okay, when you think of Navy, ship, right, okay. When you think of the Coast Guard, cutter, will just be nice, cutter. Space Force. Star Trek, yes. Big helmet, fancy, weird uniform. We love the Space Force too, like 4 of them. But here's the deal. The Corps has all of those things. We have airplanes, we have tanks. Well, we used to have tanks. We still got them in mothballs somewhere. Don't worry, we'll bring them when we need them. We have ships, little ships, but we have ships. We have all 3 of those things. But when you think of the Marine Corps, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Oh, gosh, it's like getting me all fired up. You think of a young Marine in great shape, tough and gritty and confident and all cammied up, and he's sweating, and he's got an M4, which is an assault rifle that you can shoot from 500 yards. That's 5 foot, spitting because I'm so excited. From 5 football fields. Like, who does that? We train 5, we all train 5 football fields hitting the target with an automatic weapon. It's hard to find a range where you can go 500 yards. But that's what you think of. And that Marine is ready to close with and destroy the enemy. And that's what you think of. We have planes, we have tanks, we have all that fancy metal. But what makes the difference about the Marine Corps, it's the individual Marine. And we can never lose sight of our discipline, tenacity, aggressiveness, and warrior spirit. And all of you have that. And I love being a part of that. But that's what makes us different. And that is what our nation expects from us. So I am proud to say that your Corps is more lethal. For? No. I thought I'd just take the shot. And the fine young Americans that we recruit and we retain are the best our nation has to offer. And I mean that sincerely. It is impressive when you're out there, when you have these young Marines that are doing things that most companies and a lot of times the other services would not allow a young person to have the level of responsibility, whether that's a weapon system or leading Marines in combat, that the Marine Corps does. And so your Corps remains ready to fight tonight. So should the bell get rung, we get called into conflict. Again, I talk about this when I talk to Marines, especially like in a group like this. Our job is to deter conflict. And we all pray and hope, all of us, many of us have been in combat, and we pray never to have to go back. But that's not how Marines think. We get paid to be ready to fight when the bell gets rung. And if that bell gets rung, I can tell you what, our Marines are ready to fight and win. So I hope you leave tonight knowing with some confidence that the Marines that we have today, again, when they get the call to answer the bell, they will fight and win. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to celebrate the 249th birthday with you. I look forward to meeting you down the dance floor with our dancers. Semper Fi, and have a great night. God bless our country.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Anchors Aweigh and the Marines Hymn. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the President and CEO of the Marines Memorial Association and Foundation, Lieutenant General Michael Rocco.
Okay, thanks. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Mike Borgschulte show. And what's amazing is he covered it. We've known each other for over a quarter of a century. And when you look, any of you saw us last night, and we've got the group here, and he already called out Dave Ottingnon and Wheels. Hoops is part of that. We got Turtle Blair, Chad Blair, and of course the lovely wives. When you serve together, and you serve together in combat, and you serve together in units like that, you really grow that strong bond. And what's amazing, now you would expect a general to come up here, and as Dave Ottingnon was here last year, Eric Smith, and of course General Borgschulte this time, Mike Borgschulte, you would expect a Marine to, again, speak well, have flair, and just do all of the stuff that he does. And I have the mic. But what's amazing, and for those of you who come from the squadrons, from a squadron, you can kind of understand the banter and again, the longevity and the friendship. But he was that way as a lieutenant. So can you imagine that rolling into your squadron, Rick? You're a major, and Lieutenant Borgschulte, with that shtick, comes in and talks, and that energy, absolutely, and I knew from the moment we first met, and this isn't a rom-com, but from the moment, sorry, Susan, from the moment we first met, I just knew he was going to go on to do absolutely fantastic things. And again, his theme about the fighting of the Marine Corps, and he is, again, an incredible, he's a warrior. Bronze Star, Air Medal, V's. He's been in combat, he's been there, he's done that. And he is absolutely the right person to be a leader in the Marine Corps. So again, Meet, absolutely fantastic job, great comments. And the other one, who is another proven warrior and combat leader, is a Hornet pilot, well, was a Hornet pilot, was Lucas Babbitt. Absolutely fantastic remarks. So let's bring him up on stage. And come on out, guys. And what I'd like to do is present, and there's no better gift for a warrior. Come on out. Come on out, please. Let me grab this. And so what we have here, would you hold that? Meet, come on out, is our leatherneck, is the historic copy of it. But the most important thing about it is an autograph on the bottom from Mitchell Page, Medal of Honor winner. And I can't think of a better gift to give a warrior, from one warrior to another warrior, something like this to remember us, the Marines Memorial, here at Mason and Sutter, and of course with Mitchell Page's autograph. So Meet, absolutely fantastic job. Thanks. Looking forward to those dance lessons. And we'll see you upstairs, and let's get the party started.